by using the end buyer's attorney to actually close the deal?
Like he said, you want to use your own attorney because they're experienced working with you, so they can control the deal to make it to your best interest. You know, if you have to use another buyer's attorney, you could, but you want to try to have your home team playing for you, so your home attorney.
Still try to have your attorney involved at all times, even if he's looking over the contract and you decide to go with someone else's.
So a quick follow-up to that, if it's your end buyer, if they are using their own attorney, how does the title search look? Because your name technically isn't on the title at that point previous to closing.
They know that they're buying an assignment, so your name would never be on it. It's not you're not being
right.
What did you call it?
Deceitful.
Yeah, deceitful. You're not doing that. Everybody knows what's going on.
Yeah.
You just don't. Sometimes the numbers look scary to some people and they back out of deals.
I've had that happen.
Yeah.
And then off of that, can each of you talk about a deal that where things just hit the fan and didn't go right?
Shit, we were looking at that yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, not every deal is going to be a home run. We've lost deposits on deals where we had something locked up and we put down a $5,000 deposit. This was in Boston. Our problem was we had it under contract at a price that was too high. It wasn't enough room for the cash buyer investor to make any money on it. We ended up losing a $5,000 deposit, but we made hundreds of thousands of dollars, so that's just water under the bridge. It didn't affect us as much.
Yep, cost of doing the business.
I can't think of a real. I've had deals where I've had to get like 9 signatures, but I don't really think of something that had to fall through. I mean, I own a piece of property now that I bought 50% of, and we're doing like a partition sale. Those take a long time, so I got 60 grand tied up in a property that I can't do anything with essentially right now. But we've had a deal where we were about to lose a deposit, and I got an inspection, and $500 inspection, and it turned out we made $26,000 on it. So
Did a video on that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Super quick question. I'm a firm believer in cold calling, like you are. So if I were to find lists, or whatever, I know there's many lists. Would you use triple dialer to start off, like me, like, you know?
I mean, technology is there now. If you can
Right.
afford it, yeah, go for it. Right, because it just increases your productivity if you can afford it. But if you're over leveraging yourself by doing that, then just pick up your iPhone with another line on it and start making dials.
Not from your phone, though.
Yeah,
Not from your phone.
Yeah, don't call from your number.
Use like a Google Voice number or get Call Rail, which is $30 a month, or there's all different types of different. You can get there's all types of.
Just last question.
No,
would be,
dude, you gotta keep going.
When you started, you said you were making 200 calls a day.
Mm-hmm.
Were you like repeat dialing that one list you had, or were you just like spending money getting a couple more numbers to? You know?
I pulled all my lists myself because I didn't even know what list source was at that point in time when I was doing it. But I got the numbers. I got leads from the courthouse by either playing in the probate room or the tax delinquent list, which is online. You just had to go through and search each property. But literally, I had an Excel sheet, had different tabs at the bottom, like tax delinquent, probate, this, and I would literally go down the list, next tab, down the list, next.
How many numbers would you say you had on that?
I mean, I had thousands.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I just had thousands and thousands of numbers.
How did you guys know that you were able to afford a listing manager? Like, what does that budget look like? And also, like, I know Mr. Polite said he was talking to a woman for 11 months. Like, what's the cutoff time? When you just like,
Never.
Yeah, so on the second question, follow-up is key. 99% of the people you talk to, they're not going to be ready to sell that day you talk to them. So if you don't follow up, somebody else is going to get that deal. So how do you remember to follow up is we use a CRM system, customer relationship management system called Podio, and we use an app called Investor Fuse. Podio or Investor Fuse is the app on top of Podio.
Just talk about Investor Fuse.
Investor Fuse. So that's what reminds us of our follow-up. It actually does follow up for us automatically. So I get text message responses like, hey, I'm ready to talk about selling my house. I don't even remember sending a text because I didn't send it. My computer bot sent it out for me and somebody responded. They're getting a text every 14 days, every 30 days, whatever it is. So use some type of follow-up system. If you don't have the money.
When you get to that point.
Yeah, when you get to that point. If you don't have the funds for that right now, Excel spreadsheets, but you do want to invest at a certain point to increase that productivity.
In regards to your business structure and training, how does that work with like VAs and your whole business structure outside? After you get past it, like you doing it yourself, you start building a team. Where do you get the structure for your business, and what type of training do you use for your business?
So I have a whole video on that, on the structure of my business to get $100,000 a month.
We watched me and my partner.
Yeah.
See?
So that video is real. That's not made up.
It is.
And then what I did is, as you start, so for example, when I hired my VA, the first VA I hired was Alexis. What she did is she started taking my list and that I would get from the courthouse with pictures of PDF, and she would start putting them in Excel in the morning so that I could sleep at night and make the phone calls the next day. And I just did a screen record of my computer screen and showed her how to do it once or twice, and then gave it to her. This is how I upload this is how I want you to put these properties in Excel. And then I showed her how to send it to the skip tracing company.
What about training, consistent
That's the training.
Yeah, that's the training.
That's the training.
Because I literally, the things that I was doing that I wanted somebody else to do, I would make a video of how I did it, and then just send it to them. Okay. And they're very smart. I mean, they grab on pretty quickly.
This gentleman right here.
I was gonna ask what creative addendums you guys use to back out of wholesale. Like, where are some creative addendums you come up with?
Partner's approval, right? It could be your partner, could be your wife, your girlfriend, it could be your dog. If you don't like the deal and it's not making sense, hey, I talked to my partner, I'm going to exercise my partner approval right in this deal, I'm going to cancel the contract.
Yeah, and what I do, do you put a due diligence fee on your contract?
We're going to start doing that.
Yeah, so quick way. In North
Inspection,
Carolina,
the inspection part of the
yeah, so I buy time. So literally it's not expensive in North Carolina. It'd be probably more expensive here, obviously, because the houses are more expensive. But I put a $100 due diligence fee in 10 days. I know if I got a deal or not, because I'm in the house. If it's vacant, I'm in the house the next day. If it's not, we schedule. I'm in the house within 72 hours. I'm getting pictures, and it's gonna go blast, email, and text out and RVM out to all the buyers, and I'm gonna know right away. And then those 10, and it's not anything dirty. It's I paid you $100 for 10 days for me to decide what I want to do. Ain't no clause of partner's approval or anything like that. I just started doing that probably like 9 months ago, and now I feel a little bit better about if I got to back out of a contract. Well, you agreed. I just gave you $100 for 10 days.
We're gonna do that.
Yeah, it's in the contract. So literally, our contract says $100 earns, $100 due diligence, and then rest due to closing, and that's how we have the deal structured. Yes, sir.
I invested in less than $500 to $1,000 for courses, and I just want to say truly thank you for the information and value.
Absolutely. Thank you, man. Thank you for the support. Thank you. I'm almost at 100,000 subscribers, so if you ain't subscribed to my YouTube, do that now. I need like 5,000. I want the YouTube plaque.
Hey, we just launched a YouTube channel.
Yes.
Be polite.
Right.
Check it out. Subscribe.
And we down the street from each other, so once we start doing collab videos, it's gonna be fire.
Crazy.
Crazy.
Yep, all the way to the back.
Works great. Like crazy. My question is, when is the right time to start going, I guess, naturally and into other markets that you're not really aware of?
Well, that's a good question, and you're gonna and there's no right answer or wrong answer, I should say. They went pretty quickly. I haven't. I've stayed in my little 3-county area, made a lot of money. And that goes probably to her vision. I would say she was the one who decided, without even asking, she's the one who probably said, look, we can cherry pick in a lot of different states.
Yep.
So it's all about your capacity and how you manage. I'm assuming that she manages people and things well. I typically don't. So that's why I have other people around me that do things that I'm not great at. So it depends on your capacity. Can you manage someone virtually? Can you do things like that? And if you can, then sure, give it a shot. If not, become a master in your backyard, because I guarantee there's not one person in this area that has no more than 20% of any deals in this market.
Reggie?
So since all three of you guys are successful, right, how do you manage your time where you're like, okay, let me step back and do consultation versus doing the groundwork that I've always been doing? Because at this point, you guys can do like consultation.
I don't.
We don't.
Yeah, we don't have the time right now.
Look, we do rules. We still doing it.
Yeah, I still do this business. So for me, now that I have a lot of staff, from 8 in the morning to 1 p.m., I do only real estate. From 1 p.m. to like 8 at night, I make videos for you guys. And that's kind of how it goes. So that's kind of my schedule.
Yeah, we don't have the time to really do consultations, kind of like Max. We're literally in the business every day, on the phone, generating leads, closing deals. So that's why we put out a YouTube channel. That's why we're doing events like this as a way to give back and share some of that knowledge.
I can, like, for both of us, we could probably tell you some stuff in person, but I really give a lot away on YouTube.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't need to call me.
Yeah.
Like I know these one-on-one things are good, but there's a lot of information out there to get it. And if you feel that you haven't got to the point where you're doing it yet, it's right here. It's right here. Because I got started online, they got started online. You can do it. I promise you. Yeah.
All right. So I got a property under contract right now that's smoking, but it's commercial, and there's a lot of buyers that only want residential. So it's worth $800,000. It was appraised at that in July by a professional appraisal company. I got it under contract for $295. I still haven't found a buyer.
I've never done a commercial flip wholesale. Have you?
Not yet, commercial. What's been the feedback from those buyers? What's the feedback from those buyers who are passing on it?
They don't do commercial.
Good.
No, you're right.
Rob.
Yes.
Where is he? Have you done commercial? I figured you have. Yep.
Yeah.
So here's the cool thing about it. Sorry to interrupt you. The
go.
cool thing about these events right here is that, yeah, we get to come into town, we get to drop jewels, but at the end, there's probably 100 people in here, so I don't know. This is y'all family now. Seriously, like whether you decide, there's a lot of cash buyers, you got attorneys here, you got people here that actually. Landlords, these are like, you can do deals. Even if you just want to do one deal a month, you can do that amongst the people just in this room.
Yep.
So really take, and this is what I'm saying, this is the perfect time. Remember I said cut off your friends? It's the perfect time to do it because you just got 100 new friends that
That's all on the same mindset.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a question. I don't know a lot about the contracting side of it, but are there any properties that may have structural issues that you may have to back out of a deal? Or will that affect the deal in any way? That the house is in so bad shape it may need to be condemned to something else?
We just wholesaled the fire damage house.
It was leaning sideways, about to fall apart.
I did see that picture.
The whole back was tart. No.
You want that.
Right.
At the right price. It's worth it. It doesn't matter,
Structural damage, you need it dirt cheap. You need it 10 cents on the dollar. The foundation's crumbling. I can't pay you $800,000. $250. I got to bring in a structural engineer, architect.
Start naming people. You don't even know. I got to bring in this person.
One thing that I did that worked well, that we're going to probably start doing more, is we got a professional appraiser. He charged me $500 for the first one, but I got him down to $350 now. So getting that professional appraiser in there and getting that 30-page report and just slapping it on the seller's desk. Here's what I got to do. And they're like, dang. It wasn't no paint cabinets like you thought, was it? And then they see that, and now it's the real numbers. But the difference is somebody that flips on the regular, you know, windows might cost you call from Google, you're going to pay $600. I pay $275 installed. You see the difference is? So, yeah, all those problems equal what they think, but it's really smaller for somebody that continuously flips. It's cheaper for them.
Just to add to that, when you're talking to a bona fide cash buyer, a developer, structural issues doesn't scare them. That's what they do every day. You can look up and down Columbia Road. There's flips going on everywhere. Go knock on the door. Stop that guy with the pickup truck. Talk to him. Hey, I'm a real estate investor. I find houses 30 to 50% below market value. Are you looking for more deals? Here's my business card. You got a cash buyer right there.
We do it every single day, and just some people that you should, if you're everyone starting out, you need a team. Nobody can essentially do it by themselves. You want an attorney, you want an accountant. Why? Because those are the two most important, right?
The right attorney and the right accountant.
And the right accountant. You want a contractor. Start networking. If you have a local RIA, go to it. You can find all three of them there because a lot of them go to local RIA meetings. You want, who else? Who else you want on your team?
A wife, according to her.
Boom.
Power team.
Or at least a good girlfriend until she becomes that wife, I'm telling you. Who else do we have on our team? You want a contractor, a realtor, or a broker if you can find one on your team. But these are people that you want to have to be able to call and go to. We don't ever have to worry about a property here because we have some amazing brokers here that we can call and be like, hey, listen, we got this property, a little shaky on the comps, what do you think? Attorneys here, hey, we just sent you a contract for another property. So make sure you start to build a team, and it's right in this room.
Everything.
Everything and everyone that you need.
Any contractors in here? Anybody?
Look. Keep them hands up. Right here.
I see 3-4 people holding
About
their
4 hands went up. How many realtors we have in here?
Real estate agents.
Licensed
Real
realtors.
estate brokers, agents.
We had a question right here.
So you do these wholesale deals with agents and brokers. Do you use their contract or their contract? Is their contract a contract?
You want to use your contract. So again, you want to start working with a real estate attorney and get your contract. I just download the Massachusetts Board of Realtors contract, and then I add language that's friendly to wholesaling, like and/or assignee, which allows you to assign it. You add to the addendum different out clauses like subject to partner's approval, subject to inspection period, whatever you need to add in there. So that's how you want to do it.
I'm sorry, I gotta go back to the shallow waters. Quick question. What question for you, Dedric? What can I do, just as somebody who's trying to get into it, that can, well, maybe someone possibly that would help someone like in your position out, where it will benefit both of us. You know, besides obviously taking pictures of houses and send them to you. You know, where I can actually make some money.
Y'all see that? That's how you approach
Great
somebody
question.
for help. What can I do for you?
Right.
Right? And
Right.
they might start investing in your area, and you might be the boots on the ground.
Yep.
And while doing that, you learn how to wholesale.
Yep.
That's my goal.
Yeah. That's exactly it. He's leading with value. How can I help you? Same thing when you're talking with sellers. What's the problem? Is it, you lost your job, you need X amount of dollars. How can I help you? When you lead with value first, that's when you get back. So that's a great mindset.
I'm in upstate New York.
So give me
What city?
Rochester, Buffalo, Syracuse.
All right, we'll connect because I'm buying up there, so we'll connect.
Cash flow central.
You better jump on that, boy.
I got addresses right now.
Look, I would have told
There you
him, can I get that number right now, please? It's on camera, too. Right.
All right, question, Miguel.
So where do you obtain the financing for your first flip? Because I have a 3-unit property over in Providence, but I'm having trouble finding
Cash
financing.
Rob.
Financing for flip.
Look, Rob.
So Rob Nichols is a lender. He's a hard money lender. We got several private investors that are investing in some of our projects in this room. But we found the money for our first flip from the bank. We bought a house for $15,000. We put 20% down, $3,000 down, 2-bed, 1-bath in North Carolina. $15,000. You can't even buy a car for that. We went to the bank. We said, hey, once it's fixed up, it's going to be worth $65,000. They did an appraisal. It's worth $64,000. We got it for $15,000. They gave us the money, right? Because we have good credit. I have a W-2 income. And that's how I got the money for our first flip. And we ended up holding it. We didn't sell the property. We're renting it out right now. Yeah, so we got like a $40,000 loan on it. The payment's $300 a month, and we're renting it for $850 a month.
I got my money from wholesaling. I literally, and that's the goal, is to
Yep.
take that wholesale money and turn it into passive income.
That's it.
So I wholesale my way because I didn't have a job. I wasn't W-2. I wasn't financeable. I had decent credit. And fix your credit, by the way, once you start making money.
Absolutely.
Credit.
That's important.
First
Because
thing.
you can't go into the bank. Now banks call me wanting to give me money all the time.
Right.
I got private investors that's much cheaper and less hassle. Phone call, 100,000.
And that's the actual goal, is you want to wholesale to eventually buy and hold. That's our motto. So for every I think if we do maybe 2 wholesales, we take a property down. So we buy and hold a
I
property.
do 7 to 1. Good, good.
And that's because we're building
You gotta go.
Oh, yeah.
we're building our rental portfolio. Because at the end of the day, we want that to exceed his income, just from passive income. So don't just wholesale, and just keep that money. Because like as our mentors say, when you do that, you have a silent partner. It's called
Uncle Sam.
Uncle Sam.
That boy ruthless.
So start to try and take some of these properties down.
Hey, if you're looking for a cheaper market too, North Carolina. We got $50,000 houses.
Right.
You make $50,000 up here, take that, buy a house outright in North Carolina,
You don't have to have
rent it
rentals
out.
here.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, we're starting a property management company down there.
So also, how do you handle all of your properties? I mean, do you have a property manager for all your properties?
Yep.
Yeah, so for our rentals in Boston, we have a property manager. It's impossible to manage it from 1,000 miles away. North Carolina, we manage them ourselves, but we're going to establish a property management company pretty soon here to manage our properties. Mr. Daphnis here.
I got two questions. So, one, the first one is following up from what you just said. How big do you have to be before you feel like you need to have a property manager or a property management company?
It's not really a big, if you feel like you can do it yourself, meaning you got 1-3 family, and it's 10 minutes away from you, and you know if something goes wrong, you can go over there and handle it. You don't need a property manager because they're going to charge you 10% of the rents they collect. Now, if you got a job and you're working 80 hours a week and you're traveling overseas and someone calls and say my toilet's broken, you can't get to it and get it fixed, maybe a handyman may solve that. But maybe you moved to California and now you got 6 units in Boston. You need a property manager. So it's really depending on you. One of my good friends who I grew up with, he works for the MBTA. He's in the room right now. He's got like 12 units and he makes more money passively from his rentals than he does making 6 figures for the MBTA as a bus driver. And he manages all his units himself because he's in Boston.
I use my staff. I utilize, so in the house, my
Yep.
transaction coordinator is actually my property manager. So she deals with.
Same with us too.
Yeah. So.
I got that from her.
Addie.
No lie. I literally texted her like, hey, because we were starting ours, contacted, hooked up. You got a network. And when we went to the conference, we logged 18.
Yep.
I got her information because I know what she did. So who better to get it from? I need my transaction coordinator to do what she does. Got that information. She was amazing, and I passed it right on and was able to teach our transaction coordinator based off of what she does.
Thank you. Now, I guess, Phil, the second part of my question, when you're talking about having your team, so happily married for some years now, and my wife is in the medical field, nothing to do with anything with real estate. I'm in the banking industry, so I'm in business, but she is absolutely not. Can you talk about kind of like transition, or kind of like recruiting the right person on the team in that sense, especially from the
Your wife still got student loans?
No.
Wow. Y'all got debt?
Little bit.
She in the business. Listen, you have to make a believer out of her. Before you look outside, because the one who's going to understand you the most is the one who you share bed with at night. Now, that may not always be the case where you have to look for someone else, and you want to look for someone who's like-minded, like someone in this room. If you end up finding your neighbor here, and you're like, oh, yo, what's up? I didn't even know you was interested in such and such and such and such. Then y'all start connecting that way. But I would always try and do it first with my wife and just make her a believer. Bring that first check, put it on the table, and you're like, oh, I need you to deposit that. My account. No, don't say that. And then we'd be at your divorce. But I just need you to deposit that. Oh, tell me how you got that. Make a believer out of them. Because a lot of women, in order for them to follow your lead, they got to trust where you're leading them. She's already married you, so she trusts that you know what you're doing somewhat. But when it comes to something like this, wholesaling, real estate, you're stepping out on faith. So before she's ready to give up that chizak, that guaranteed money, it's just like, okay, let me know you know what you're doing first. So start doing deals without her.
Can I ask one more quick question? So this is just touching, and I know you guys aren't financial advisors, but so when you guys are talking about your rental portfolios and stuff like that, I was listening to some audiobooks and it was mentioned like the 1031, stuff like that. Are you taking advantage of that type of stuff too?
We haven't done one yet, but at some point we will do a 1031. For those who don't know, 1031 is when you sell a property and you make a profit. How you defer taxes on it is you take those profits from that property. Say you made $200,000, so instead of paying, capital gains tax of 20-30% on that, you roll that profit over into another property. And there's qualified professionals who you can link up with who will show you how to do the paperwork with that.
Is that like going along with the whole like opportunity zone thing that's going on right now?
It's different.
It's a little different.
I buy my I do a lot of my flips out of a self-directed IRA, so I never pay taxes on it because I also I put the profits right back in it too. So when you get to that point, that's easy.
Yeah. So you don't have to issue yourself a 1099 or nothing like
that? Oh, I work for the best company in the world.
Right, same here.
So this conversation go deep, but I have several LLCs, and my employees work for one, and I work for a management company that manages that company. And they are the best company in the world. They got health insurance, they max out my self-directed, all types of stuff like that. So, and I got that from Mr. Robinson.
Yep.
So,
I already know.
They do maximum contributions allowed by the government to me. They pay for my vehicle, housing allowance, a bunch of stuff.
You guys have any book recommendations?
Huh? I don't, because I don't know it that well to teach it.
First book, Rich Dad Poor Dad. Have you read that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
Go on, Dedric, you got like 50. Dedric got some, because he gives me one every week.
It's a story.
Yeah, it's a story.
That helps change your
Rich Dad Poor Dad. Another one is Traction. Traction, if you haven't read that. Traction.
Traction?
Yeah, Traction. It's by, I think, Gino Wickman, something like that. It teaches you how to set a mission statement for your business, how to set a vision, and also goals. Quarterly goals, annual goals, 5-year goal, 10-year goal. It's a book called Traction. Another one on negotiation is called Never Split the Difference. Never Split the Difference. That's on negotiation.
One of the most underrated books about wholesaling is The Art of Wholesaling Properties. I think it's like 99 cents.
Yeah.
It's like the most underrated book that most people never talk about because there's no hype behind the guy that created it.
Which one?
It's called the Art of Wholesaling Properties. And it's just good to, like, remember, because you're cutting off the radio, right? When you leave here, there's no more radio, there's no more iPod, iTunes.
No TV, no
you're
cable.
You're starting to fill your mind with this stuff because you can't get enough of it.
Yep.
So, I mean, you see, this is in my Audible account.
You have to become obsessed with this. If you really, you have to become committed and obsessed. And I heard Max say this on a video, and it's true. Once you become so obsessed where you're dreaming about wholesaling, you're dreaming about real estate, that's when stuff's gonna start clicking for you. Nothing worth doing is gonna come easy. This is not get rich quick. This is get rich slowly over time.
Yep. When I got in this business, I actually had to buy a mouth guard because at night I didn't want to sleep. So I would grind my teeth thinking about real estate. So I literally had to I had to wear a mouth guard so I wouldn't grind my teeth away because I did not want to sleep. I wanted to just do work. I couldn't wait till it was the proper time in the morning to call people. And that's where you got to be at this thing. Because I'm telling you, when I say that first deal, you're one deal away.
Yes.
It's more than just a check. It goes deep. Like that one deal, you just feel everything. You see, it's real. That one, it changes your mind, your perspective. It's not the money, because you can make money anywhere, but having the confidence and knowing that you can do this, it's real. Man, it really changed your life. I mean, there's a couple more books. Let's see.
Which one?
Traction.
Traction.
High performance habits. These are just all from my Audible account right now.
Anyone heard of Audible? It's an app where you can listen to books on tape. I highly recommend that as well.
Most of y'all know I'm a terrible reader. I'm dyslexic, so that's why I listen to books a lot.
High performance. What?
High performance habits. Yeah. So he went around and interviewed a bunch of top people in the world, business people, and put together their top performing habits that they do.
And Carnegie did something like that.
Yeah, he did that too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we're going to take a couple more questions, and then we're going to stop and network so people get a chance to meet each other and speak. And we're going to do something where you guys can really see who is who, and just have brokers, attorneys, anyone who can really help you guys come on up to the front just so you can see who they are if you miss them by hand. So a couple more questions.
This gentleman right here.
What's the deal with, like, so when you have your own, business, like, I don't know nothing about nothing right now.
It's okay.
So, like, paying taxes, like, let's say you make $100K over the year, like, is there anything you could recommend to work up with it? Or
Yeah, let me give you a
Good
book.
question.
Let me give you a book.
It's a good question.
You get like a tax lawyer or something?
Yes, you can get a tax lawyer, but read this book called Profit First.
Yeah.
That book will teach you how to start structuring your businesses. A lot of people look to their business where the profit's what's left. He does it where the profit's first. And then he starts to break it down.
It's kind of like, because I read Rich Dad Poor Dad, that's why I'm here. You know, and I believe they go into that a little bit.
Yeah, so read Profit First, and literally Audible is so cheap. I think if you have Amazon Prime, I think you get a book for free every month, anyways. So just literally pour. That's what I mean by becoming obsessed, man. We gotta just change. Like, we as people have been programmed on what is real, or what is the norm. We gotta change what we think of as the norm. I promise you that the norm is not what we think it is. And when you finally get that mindset, you'll know the norm is not what you thought was. It wasn't what you thought 2 years ago, was it?
When you're able to tell your husband, like we said a couple days ago, and I don't know what we were discussing, I was like, oh, well, go ahead, because it's only $20,000. And then he stopped me. He was like, damn. Can you believe you're saying that? He said, I'm telling you, he was like, wow, remember when you was like,
that used to be a lot of money.
It used to be a lot of money towards it. Now it's just like, well, go ahead, it's only $20,000.
The other thing on,
go ahead.
The other thing on taxes, when you get a check, say you get a $10,000 check, don't just go and blow that $10,000. Put $2,000 to $3,000, 20 to 30% of that aside in an account for taxes, because Uncle Sam's going to want his money.
But read that book, Profit First, because it tells you exactly what to do.
What bank accounts to set up and all that
Different
stuff.
bank accounts to set up and your structures in those bank accounts. Because I'm telling you, it'll change the way you think about business, and it'll set you in a direction where you never have to worry about Uncle Sam or anybody like that.
Can you guys like explain like what a subject to deal is? Because I recently just started seeing them on your blog with Brian.
Yeah, so he asked, what is a subject to deal? So subject to is when you purchase a property, it has a loan on it, it has a mortgage. So let's say it's a $100,000 house, they have a loan for $70,000. That's their remaining balance on their loan. They want to sell it. Subject to is a creative, advanced real estate strategy. I don't recommend it for someone who hasn't even done a first wholesale deal yet. Wait till you do a couple wholesale deals to get into that. But basically, say their payment is $600 a month and they want to sell it. Subject to is you buying that property and taking over the mortgage and starting to make payments for them subject to their existing financing. So that's what a subject to is, but it's an advanced strategy.
Yeah, I use it a lot now that Mr. Robinson taught me how to do it the proper way. Y'all see we keep referring to one person.
Right.
Robinson going to the conference?
Yes.
He'll be at
I'm
the
telling you, I'm
conference.
bringing the best people to the
He's
conference.
speaking also?
Yeah,
he's
speaking there. He's got his own breakout.
Got a whole day too.
So, but I use it now, so I've been starting to do subject twos. Basically what happens is, I'll give you an example of a real deal. Married couple they built a house at the beach. It cost more than they thought, and they no longer wanted the house that they had in the suburbs, in the middle of the state. So what happens is, they had a house that it was worth about $160. They wanted $30,000 in cash for whatever reason. It didn't matter to me. And then I found out they had a mortgage. So I started, this is midnight negotiation tactics. Nobody here likes banks. So you start the conversation once you find out they have a mortgage. Yeah, I hate the banks, Wells Fargo. You're starting to pit them against the bank. And now it's me and them and the bank. So you want $30,000, but you got a balance of $72,000. But how about I got it created where I can we go to closing, I'll give you the $30,000. We'll slowly pay off the bank. I'll make sure the payments get made every month. That'll give me some time to renovate the property, but then we don't have to negotiate. I'll give you exactly what you want, that $30,000. She's like, oh yeah, perfect, let's do that. So I did that, gave her the $30,000. I actually took $30,000 from a private money lender that I have in escrow. It costs pretty much nothing. Gave her the $30,000. We went in the house, spent $2,300, and then sold it for $165, and just paid off the $72,000 balance. So our money less than $3,000, our money was in the deal. And then now I've been doing where I'll take a property subject to, and I'll make it an Airbnb.
Yep.
Saw that with the dude.
Oh, I can't wait to show y'all the results of that. So you take a property where the mortgage in North Carolina's house is worth $179. I actually turned down retail offers on it because I have it subject to. And then I turn around and make it an Airbnb, and that same property that costs $830 a month mortgage is making me $43,000 a year as an Airbnb.
So many different ways
So many
to
different
make money
ways.
in real estate.
That's what you got to look forward to.
So when you like find it, like say someone like goes into the house and like finances the house from you and they start picking up the mortgage and stuff, like how does that go if like they default on that? Like,
When somebody buys it from me,
That's owner financing.
Yeah, I don't do much of those.
Yeah, that's owner financing. If they're financing, we haven't.
If they default, you kick them out, just like the bank would kick you out.
Right.
oh,
Because you are the bank.
You are.
I mean, would that go like anything towards your like credit or anything like that, or it would just be strictly on that?
I think you're confusing a couple things,
Yeah.
but basically, you're if subject to the properties, the loan is still in the seller's name.
Yes.
Owner financing is usually I own the house free and clear, and I'm gonna be the bank. I'm gonna give them a mortgage over a certain amount of time. Yeah.
Right there.
I got a question. Can someone like me contact you and have them help you walk through the first deal?
I personally don't have time, but there's a lot of stuff on YouTube that we put out that will literally walk you through the first deal. I promise you.
Yeah.
Promise you.
We really don't have the time. But link up with me afterwards, and I will actually give you. He's actually a cousin of mine that I found at Max's meetup.
Tommy.
Talking about Tommy? Oh, Tommy, yeah. He was just at my house last night.
Cousin Tommy.
He is literally my blood cousin relative that I found at his meetup. We were both.
We making families put together.
Listen, both speaking. His last name was the same as my mother's maiden name. So I was like, oh, where your family from? He said this small town. I said, wait, that's where my family from. So we ended up texting each other, sent each other family trees, and I'm like, oh shoot, that's my mother's grandfather. Like, so, but he has a great one-on-one mentoring coaching program.
His name is Tommy Holt Jr.
Tommy Holt. Yeah.
Yep, I'll give you the link to it too.
It's called,
definitely look him up.
It's called Employee to Entrepreneur.
It's E to E.
Employee to Entrepreneur. Tons of great information,
Yep.
one-on-one.
So remind me when this is over and I'll give you his link.
$47.
A month, and you literally get him.
Huh? He won't come to you, but he has
virtual.
weekly coaching calls as well too.
And you're able to talk to him on the phone. You're able to email him. He'll walk you through deals. He'll give you whatever assistance you need. Amazing. So.
What's his last name?
Yep.
He was a Miami SWAT officer.
Yep.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, the black guy.
Tommy, yeah.
Holt, H-O-L-T.
He was just on my podcast or something like that. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, he's a realtor too, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, he is still a realtor.
So I think at this point, go ahead.
So I have a question. I have this house and it doesn't make sense to live or to like wholesale because there's no room, but it makes sense to rent it out. How would I do it if I don't have no W-2s and all I have is hard money lenders?
Some hard money lenders go the long way, don't they?
Yep.
They'll take the long. It's expensive though. It doesn't. You usually can't rent out on that. I know some companies are making programs for that, but if it makes sense to rent it out, why can't you sell it to somebody that's going to be
a landlord?
It still needs some work. So
that's what they.
That's the problem.
The other
So
thing is you can find a partner, equity partner.
yeah.
Give you the money.
Talk to him.
So 50% of something is better than zero. 50% of how's it going?
I say half of a watermelon is better than half of a grape.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can find equity partner to renovate it and to share the profits with you.
Yep. Like on. So.
All right.
So you know. So now we're gonna stop and network. Can we get Rob, Joe Sway, some of the real cash buyers that we have here?
Bill.
The attorney.
Home investors.
Home investors. Yep. So
if you're
you
a cash
guys
buyer,
have no
you're a cash buyer,
excuse
come up
not
front.
not to network with these people before you leave here. And remember, a cash buyer is a cash buyer, no matter where the deal is.
So if you're a wholesaler, these people are cash buyers. Come up on here, Mr. Jenkins. These guys buy houses. He's a big landlord. He owns properties. Actually, the house, one of my rental properties, Mr. Jenkins owned that property in the 70s. I bought that property in 2007. Ridlawn, 55 Ridlawn Road. Bill, he's a home investors franchisee. He's a cash buyer.
Rob, come over here.
Always looking for deals.
Yes.
And Mr. Robert Nichols is a cash buyer, broker, investor. So these are all people.
And lender.
Hard money lender. These are all people, if you're looking for cash buyers, they'll buy your
Yep.
deals.
Sorry, realtor.
Jamal,
Jamal,
come on up.
if you need a realtor that knows this market inside out, this is who we go to 99% of the time.
So find these people, network with each other, exchange business cards, and we appreciate everybody coming out. Give yourselves a hand.